Welcome, animals, to another episode of Mastering Master Mode. In this episode, we start off by entering the dungeon. We've just beat Skeletron, the protector of the dungeon, and now we're ready to raid its goodies. Right off the bat, we start off with a wooden chest at the top, giving us a head start on the golden keys we're going to need to open the chests further down. We can also find these golden keys by taking out enemies down here, especially the slimes. Upon opening our first golden chest, we get the achievement Dungeon Heist. We also get a Cobalt Shield and a Shadow Key from this chest, and these are both items that I'm looking for down here. The Cobalt Shield totally eliminates knockback from enemies when I get hit by them, and the Shadow Key will allow me to open the Shadow chests down in the underworld. The Cobalt Shield is also one of the main ingredients for the Ankh Shield, which we get an achievement for crafting later on in the game. Continuing further on, I managed to find the mechanic trapped in the dungeon. She's a really useful NPC for wiring up traps and other electronic gadgets. In my next chest, I find an Aqua Scepter. This is the weapon I was looking for down here. It pierces enemies, it does great damage quickly, and it doesn't take a ton of mana to use. The Aqua Scepter's damage output is quite a bit higher than any of the other weapons that I have, meaning I can make much quicker work of the enemies in the dungeon than I could with just the Thunder Zapper or the Bee Gun. I have a pretty close call here and get poisoned by a dart trap, and on top of that, tons of monsters are spawning due to the water candles' increased spawn rates. I'm getting absolutely swarmed by dart casters and angry bones. I decided my best course of action was to get out of there as fast as possible. And when I teleport home, I end up with just 4 HP after the poison runs out. I'm not so lucky on my next attempt though, and get sort of trapped in this pit of spikes. I take a ton of damage trying to get out, so I decided to hide in this little room to heal up when a dart caster teleports right in front of me and shoots me through the wall with one of their fireballs. I almost teleported out of there to safety, but just barely missed it. I also get taken super low by this cursed skull, who decided to stop taking knockback from my attacks. And when I'm trying to avoid another dart caster, I jump directly into spikes and take yet another death. Upon returning to the dungeon after that death, I come across this area that I can't get through due to the spikes. An enemy walks up on the other side of them, and I thought I could thread the needle with the water bolt and take it out, but I really just end up watering its head. Death number 3 comes when I'm swarmed by angry bones, dart casters, and a spiked ball. I use my Shield of Cthulhu to dash into the angry bones, but doing that knocked me back into the spiked ball, and that's how I die. After that death, I remembered that there was one more pre-hard mode boss that I had not taken on yet. The Deerclops. The Deerclops is a collaboration boss between Terraria and Don't Starve. I've never played Don't Starve, but I have seen this boss and it looks terrifying in Don't Starve, just like it does here. This is also my first time ever taking on the Deerclops in Terraria, pre-hard mode. I have taken him out before in other worlds where my character is overpowered and instantly defeats him, but going into it with pre-hard mode weapons and armor, it is a lot harder. Deerclops also seems to be invincible at times. When it turns this dark purple, kind of vibrating color, I can't do damage to it. It's pretty frustrating, and I don't know if there's something that I'm doing that's triggering it, but it causes me to not be able to do damage, prolonging the fight. Even with Deerclops' invincibility, I managed to do a pretty decent chunk of damage here, using a mixture of all of my weapons, especially the bee gun, since the homing bees are really effective at doing constant damage without having to worry about aiming. It allows me to focus more on dodging, which, as you may be able to tell, I need. I find it very hard to dodge both his icicle attacks and his snowball attacks, and since this is my first time truly fighting this boss, I don't really know its attack patterns yet, making it hard to dodge its attacks. With all that in mind, it was only a matter of time before Deerclops took me out. It got me with a snowball and then comboed it with a shadow hand and an icicle, and I stood no chance. One nice thing about the Deerclops boss fight is he actually does not despawn if he takes you out. Deerclops only goes away if you defeat it or 24 in-game hours pass. So I get right back into it. I head back over to where I spawned Deerclops and start unleashing my bees on him some more. Another good weapon is the Demon Scythe. If I can catch Deerclops standing still, I can hit it a few times with the Demon Scythe. In the middle of the fight, I remember I didn't take any buffs this time, so I spawned my piggy bank and I take some. Although, almost immediately upon taking them, I get taken out again by a snowball launched from miles away. That still doesn't stop me, however, and I'm right back into it. Another thing you'll notice about this boss fight is I didn't make an arena. If I had made an arena, this fight would have probably gone a lot easier. I find that if I stay above Deerclops, most of its attacks don't hit me, and I can dodge them much easier. So if I had even a single platform above Deerclops, I feel as though I could have survived this a lot better. Instead, I'm fighting on the same level as Deerclops, allowing all of the icicle attacks to hit me, and making it much harder for myself to dodge the snowball attack. I feel that I am learning its attacks though, and I am dodging better. However, getting hit by the icicle attack can freeze you for a second or two, giving Deerclops basically another hit on you for free. It's one way Deerclops can stack up a lot of damage on you quickly. For some reason, I just can't get the hang of the snowball attacks. They really just hang in the air, and I end up running into them myself. I'm also not a huge fan of the Shadow Hands attack, as they seem to just spawn in randomly, and even sometimes right in my path that I'm already moving, causing what feels like some unavoidable damage. For some reason, I switch off of the bee gun and start using the Demon Scythe. Now, the Demon Scythe does do a lot more damage, but it has to be aimed, and I'm focusing way too much on my dodging to be aiming at this time. I could just be holding down my left mouse button and focusing on dodging if I had just stuck with the bee gun. I probably would have gotten in a whole bunch more damage if I had done that. I get a bit flustered and kind of stop attacking for a while, and that also doesn't help with my damage output. I thought being underground might help with the snowball attack, but it turns out the snowballs just travel through the ground and hit you underneath anyways. And it trapped me, so I ended up getting hit by an icicle attack instead. For some reason, I don't see the Shadow Hand to my right, maybe because it came out from under the ground, but I don't even try to dodge it, and it hits me twice before I even realize what's going on. A pretty annoying way to take damage for sure, but it is what it is, and I've learned for next time to pay more attention to my surroundings and don't just stand around and let myself get hit. I managed to bring Deerclops down to about 1700 health when he takes me out for the third time. I rush back, ready to take out Deerclops and claim victory. Thinking I had it in the bag, I didn't take any buffs, nor did I take the time to heal up before heading back to the fight. Deerclops was having none of it. It ended up taking me out again with only 250 health left. For some reason, this time I decided I needed to heal up at the nurse, and doing so gave me the achievement Frequent Flyer for spending over 1 gold being treated by the nurse. After returning to Deerclops, I managed to take out the last 250 health and managed to get the achievement An Eye for defeating it. And with that, we come to the end of the episode. In next week's episode, we'll explore the underworld, set up an arena, and take on the final pre-hard mode boss, the Wall of Flesh. I'm so excited to get out of pre-hard mode and into hard mode, and I hope you guys are just as excited. If you are, be sure to drop a like, a comment, subscribe, and join me next week for more Mastering Master Mode.